Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, we're doing a brush declutter. I have to admit brushes are one of my weaknesses. I tend to collect brushes. I don't know what it is, but like a good makeup brush, I feel like can totally change the game. I'm gonna put some lotion on my hands because my hands are super duper dry. This cold, damp weather makes my eczema just like freak out. It's crazy, but anyways, I thought today we can go ahead and go through my brushes and declutter. My goal is to have a staple set of brushes and then backups, like one set of backups. Reason being is I like to, when I wash my brushes, be able to pull out backups while the other ones are drying if need be. Also, I always have this irrational fear that I'm gonna lose or break or something's gonna happen to my favorite brushes, and then I always want a backup. So I guess I'll kind of talk through my decisions as we're going, but yeah, this is my brush collection here. You can't see, but it goes all the way down to here. These are mostly like face brushes, these are eye brushes, these are brand new brushes that I just purchased. And then I also have the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collection that I have to be honest, I really have not even dove into yet, and it's basically a full brush set in and of itself. So let's get into this. I'm gonna start with eye brushes. I think I'm gonna actually pull out the brushes in here and just put them in their respective piles. Also, if you've never seen my declutter videos before, I will be posting on Poshmark anything that I'm not keeping. I purchased all of these brushes myself. I'm looking through and I don't think I got any of them in PR. I did get some as gifts from like Gen Beauty or BeautyCon or like beauty boxes. Like I think this one was one of them. But for the most part, I mean 99.9% of these I purchased completely on my own. So yeah, my Poshmark name is Mel's Makeup 88, the same as it is here. So if there's a brush that you see that I'm decluttering that you want to purchase, I will purchase, or I'll post them at a very discounted price over on my Poshmark. I'll probably end up doing them in like lots or something like that, maybe sets or something like that. Brushes are something that you can very easily sanitize, so I don't feel like there's a hygiene issue or anything like that, and they can last you a lifetime if you take care of them. So yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the eye brushes. I think this is actually more of a face brush. I mean, the thing with brushes is you can use them for whatever you want. There really is no right or wrong answer to anything. I hate to get rid of any of these because I literally just got them and I haven't even used them. I'm trying to think if there's one that I probably will not use, and maybe these little ones. The thing is I have other ones, so I'm gonna put these to the side actually for a minute. I'm also gonna keep all of my Smith brushes. I just purchased these. Smith brushes, I have to say, are my favorite brushes of all time. I can very easily say that. I have no doubts in my mind. Favorite brushes of all time. They're such high quality and they're just so good. So I'm gonna set those aside too, and then I might have to pull those out to like compare things to them. As far as the rest of my eye brushes go, so I do have some more Smith brushes in here. I have the 232 and the 230, which are my favorite blending brushes. One of them is a little bit bigger, and then, oops, I hope that this video is in focus. I'll try to stay down as far as I can. And then this one is just a little bit smaller. Also, if you notice, some of my brushes have like a little bit of blue or kind of what looks green right around the end right here. That's because I recently washed them with the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner, which is tinted blue. I tried to rinse them out, but I feel like sometimes maybe the natural hair brushes just kind of suck that color in. And so that's what that is. But anyways, so yeah, these two I'm definitely keeping. There's also a couple of like staple brushes that I feel like I use almost every single day. So my Sephora Pro smudge brush, I use this to smudge out my eyeliner. And then I have a backup version of this It's also a Sephora brush, but it's not their Pro. It's just, I guess, their standard line that looks pretty much the same. So these two are staples. I have the one I use every day and then my backup. So I guess I can safely say if I run into any other smudgers, kind of like this one right here, I don't need to keep it. So this will be going in the donate pile, or the Poshmark pile. I'm just gonna put those in here. So these are the brushes, or the containers that I usually keep my brushes in. I'm just gonna put the ones I'm putting on Poshmark in there. So those are my staple brushes. I also have 2 flat shader brushes from Sigma that I kind of rotate through to apply shadow all over my lid. I have to say, I don't think that these are anything special, but I haven't been able to find a brush like this by any other brand. Granted, I haven't really been searching for them, but it's just kind of like if I stumbled upon one, I would buy it, and I haven't been able to find one. Morphe doesn't make one that looks like this. So I definitely want to keep these 2 because these I use all the time to apply shadow all over my lid. I think I can go ahead and get rid of this one by Sigma. It's their large shader brush, so it's just a little bit taller than their flat shader brush. So this is the E60, this is the E55. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. I think any other flat shader-ish type brushes I can probably safely get rid of. This is the MAC 247. MAC brushes are expensive, so I kind of hesitate a little bit in getting rid of this. I want to say they're handmade. Smith brushes are definitely handmade, which is why they're so expensive. I'm going to put this in my maybe pile. I'm just kind of, well, I'll do a maybe over here. Okay, I can get rid of this one. This is the Luxie 211. It's a similar, no, you know what? I do use this. No, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, pencil brushes. I do think it's important to have a staple kind of pencil-ish type brush in your collection to help you apply shadow like in your inner corner, your lower lash line, various different reasons why you can have a pencil brush. I want to say that that Morphe and Jaclyn Hill collection has a sort of pencil brush right here, and yeah, there's 2 that are essentially very similar in this collection. It's the JH39 and the JH38. They're just, maybe one's a little bit more densely packed. So because of that, I think I can go ahead and get rid of the rest of my pencil brushes. I think I have a MAC one. Yeah, the MAC 219. I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. But the rest I'm going to go ahead and put in my Poshmark pile. These little like flat, I don't know what to call them, but they're like what you would use to smudge like underneath your eye. I thought I would use these a lot more than I actually do. I have this one, and then I think one came in the Jaclyn Hill collection. Yeah, right here. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Sephora one that I have, the Sephora 25, and I'll keep that one. I don't use them really nearly as much as I thought I would, but I don't want to get rid of that because I just got it. This one, the Sephora Pro 20 is, what did I do with that? Hold on, I'm getting all my piles mixed up. Did I put the MAC pencil brush here, or did I put it over here? Nope, that's Morphe, that's Morphe. Okay, I just don't want to get rid of one that I didn't want to. The Sephora Pro Brow Brush, I'm going to keep this. I don't use brow powders very often, but this is the only brow brush I have. So I'll be keeping that one. Okay, hopping into these like bigger blending brushes. I have a couple that are super densely packed, and then I have some that are a little bit more fluffy, and I think they serve different purposes. So pulling out the very densely packed ones, yeah, I'd consider that one densely packed. I think this is probably pretty much it. It also, is there any of these in the Jaclyn Hill collection? I don't think so. Like densely packed. I mean, she has a crap ton of blenders in here, but I do not think there's any that are like, oh no, here's one that's kind of densely packed. I mean, basically this whole entire collection is just blending brush after blending brush. There's a ton of them, so I'm actually just gonna put those aside right there. So these are the ones that I have that are super duper densely packed. I will say the Chanel number 19 I use probably the most frequently because it's smaller. I use it to kind of apply powder to my outer V. So definitely keeping that, plus it was very expensive and I feel like it'll last me literally the rest of my life if I take care of it. The Morphe M517 is probably the one I used second most frequently. This one is huge and it's super duper densely packed. I mean, you can use this as like a concealer brush, but this is what I'll use to apply like a dark color on my lid, and then I'll go in with a different brush and blend it out. So it's kind of like that middle brush. The thing I hate about this brush is the handle is so humongous, but I am going to keep it, and then I'll get rid of these two here. As far as more fluffy blending brushes go, I have quite a bit of those, and I'll be honest, I don't really use these too frequently. Usually this is just to apply like my base color on my lid, and then I'll go in with smaller blending brushes afterwards. So a lot of these are Sigma. Yeah, the E35. There's a couple of other Sigma. I think the E30, well, okay. These are good. And then I'm going to keep the Jaclyn Hill one so I can kind of compare to those. So here's the Jaclyn Hill one. Nice and big and fluffy. I think I maybe will keep that one and like one more, and then I can get rid of the rest of these because I do use them every day, but I don't feel like I need this many of them. So maybe I will keep my Sigma ones. I'll keep the rose gold Sigma one. And then I think the rest of these I can go ahead and throw in my Poshmark pile. I'm kind of looking and I'm like, should I have one more just in case? Maybe I'll keep one of these Sigma or these Morphe ones. No. Oh, I'm so undecided. It's the E40 from Sigma, and I have like various versions of that exact same brush. Yeah, this is an E40. Oh no, this is an E35. Okay, so I'll keep an E40 also. I'll keep the, I think this was Miss Bunny or Mr. Bunny, I don't remember. Okay, the rest of those are going in my Poshmark pile. Now as far as like dense blending brushes go, I mean, clearly this Jaclyn Hill collection has a ton, like a ton, and I probably don't need to keep any more than what this collection came with. However, I have a couple of MAC ones that I love. They're probably my favorite. It's the MAC 217. So I'm going to keep both of those. The Morphe M433 is basically a dupe for this MAC one. M433. I have a whole bunch of them. Good grief. I think I'm just going to keep two, but this is such a good brush. I will say the Smith 232 is very similar. That's the 230. Here's the 232. And I think I like the Smith one better because it has more of like a tapered point. But this is probably my favorite blending brush style of all time. So I think I'm going to go ahead and keep all of these. And then, oh, this one's from MAC too. This was the Mariah Carey one. I'm going to keep this just because it's really pretty and it's limited edition. These, I'm going to get rid of the rest. So I think that's really good. I narrowed it down quite a bit. I mean, looking at what I'm getting rid of, it's a lot. So I think this MAC maybe, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of. So the rest of my brushes, there's probably eye brushes kind of sporadically placed within these. If I happen to come across those, I will probably just go ahead and put them in the Poshmark pile because I think this is plenty of eye brushes that I'm keeping. So, okay, so moving along, I'll try to categorize them as much as I can, but I think I'm just gonna pull from here. So highlighter brushes, I have fan brushes and then like densely packed kind of pointed highlighter brushes. I think I want to keep a couple of each and then get rid of the rest. So pulling those out, I'm trying to get the more like densely packed pointed ones first. This is probably more of a contour brush, huh? I mean, I guess you could use it as a highlighter brush, but okay. I think, oh, here's some eye brushes. These dual-sided ones, I feel like I always don't use because they're so super hard to store. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of those. Same with this brow brush. There's like a spoolie on one side, and then I already have a brow brush, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. I have eyelashes in here. What the heck? Okay, well those are going in the trash can. Okay. It looks like these are the only like pointed highlighter brushes that I own. So that makes it kind of easy. So I will keep the Jaclyn Hill one. And then the other one I use most frequently is this Morphe one. You can see it's dirty because I use it quite a bit. So maybe these will be the two that I keep. You know what? This is my like hairline brush. I use this to use like powder to fill in my hairline. So I am going to keep it. It is a highlighter brush, but I like that it's purple and I can easily like pull it out of my collection and know that don't use this on anything other than your hairline. So I'm going to get rid of the Anastasia highlighter brush. As far as, so things that could be considered a highlighter brush, but maybe used for other things, like a contour type brush, I feel like I have quite a bit of those, kind of like these pointed concealer type brushes. I mean, you could really use them for anything that you want, but I tend to use them mostly for highlighting or contouring or concealer. So, okay. I think that's most of them. Oh, here's a pointed one. Okay, so going through this, so looking at the Jaclyn Hill ones, there's a lot in this collection. So I feel like you could use these for so many different things. I think they were maybe intended for highlighting. This could be concealer under your eyes, like a fluffy contour. I mean, there's so many different things that you could use those for. So looking at these and then comparing to what I have, this Luxie brush I use to set my under eyes with, and it's kind of like my go-to for that purpose. So I think because of that, I am going to keep that, just in case I don't end up liking the Jaclyn Hill ones. You know, it's nice to have my go-to. And then this Sephora brush is very similar to some of these as well, but I do use this quite frequently as well. It's the Sephora 79. So I'm going to keep those and I'm going to get rid of the rest. I so hesitate getting rid of this Sephora 57, but I haven't used it in a long time. So I'm going to get rid of those. And it looks like there was one in the Morphe collection that was very, very similar. Yeah, they're basically the same exact brush. So, okay. Looking at fan brushes, I know I have way too many fan brushes. It's actually quite ridiculous because I don't really use them that much, if I'm being honest. So I have this big one. I have that one. Oh, this Luxie brush is the same as the one that I'm keeping, but I don't think I need them both, so I'll pop that on my Poshmark. I thought I had more fan brushes. Oh, here's another one. I guess I had less than I thought I had. Okay, well this is still probably too many. Considering I honestly don't use fan brushes very frequently at all. I have a Dose of Colors one, this big Sephora one, a Morphe one, and a Tarte one. I'm going to get rid of the Morphe and the Tarte. and I'm gonna keep the Dose of Colors. I do use this Sephora one occasionally to apply like blush, if I want like just a light dusting of blush. So those are the 2 fan brushes that I'm gonna keep. Looking at these kind of random brushes that I have, like these, I mean, you can carve out like your eye look or your nose. I don't contour my nose. I don't foresee myself ever really wanting to contour my nose. So I think for that purpose, I'm just gonna keep the one that came in the Jaclyn Hill palette. I could also use this to like stamp out my eye, like when I'm, you know, putting powder under my eye for an eye look. But I don't think I need all of these. So I'm gonna keep that one. The rest can go in my Poshmark. Looking at contour specific brushes, I do have a few of those. So I have the Smith brush. I have 2 from Morphe. Lily is snoring right behind the camera, by the way. So if you hear little snores, that is Lily, my little Lillian snoring over there. So I think these are the 2 that I have like specifically that like pretty much all look exactly the same. I like the Smith one the most, obviously, but I do kind of go back to this Morphe one occasionally. I have 2 of them. I don't think I need 2 of them. So I'm just gonna keep 1 and then keep my Smith one. Other things that serve as that same purpose, I have this Tarte brush and then this Hourglass brush. The Hourglass brush was so freaking expensive that I feel like I need to keep it. It was like $45. The thing is, it's really difficult to store because I don't keep it in my little jars right here. I'm gonna get rid of the Tarte one. I'll keep the Hourglass one, yeah, for now. I have another Hourglass brush in here that I just recently purchased. I do actually use this quite a bit for travel. It's very similar to some of the brush shapes that I just showed you. So there's like a pointy tip here and then like a, you know, contourish type thing here. So I'm gonna keep both of those because they were expensive and because I do actually use those for travel. This e.l.f. blending brush is also kind of that same concept. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. It's very super soft though. This NARS Ita brush I haven't used in years. years. I also have like a mini version of it in this Laguna bronzer from NARS, like a little mini Ita. I kind of feel like I don't need them both. However, I went on a hunt for this brush and I found it, and it's kind of like one of those like sentimental things. I don't contour this sharply very often. However, I feel like it'll be a good brush to have when I want to contour that sharply because I don't have anything else like that. So for that purpose, I'm going to go ahead and keep that. These stippling brushes, I will say they were like a hot thing there for a while, and I just don't use them. I bought this one from MAC. It's the MAC 183 and I don't remember why. I think I used it to contour with. I remember when I purchased it, I just don't remember why I purchased it. I'm gonna keep the MAC one. I mean, the Sigma one is obviously much larger, but I haven't used this one and I can't even remember the last time I used it. So there's that. This Kat Von D Shade and Light is a double-sided one, and it's very similar to the Hourglass one that I'm keeping. I mean, these are essentially the same type of brush. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the Kat Von D one, just because I can't even remember the last time I used that. Sigma, so foundation brushes. I guess I can hop into those next. Honestly, I don't think I have very many of those. This is probably the only foundation brush I own, actually. So because of that, I'm gonna keep it. I think you can also use this Morphe brush for foundation. This one's a flat top kabuki, and then this one's more of like a rounded kabuki. I don't usually apply liquid foundation with a brush, but I feel like I could definitely, if for some reason I start, these are the 2 that I would use for that. So I'm gonna keep those. blush brushes. So blush brushes are one of those things that I've kind of sort of been on a hunt for. I purchased this from Smith very recently. I haven't used it yet with the intent of being a blush brush. But currently what I use are my Sigma brushes. So I have this Sigma large angled F40. I have 2 of those. And this is typically what I end up using. I will say this one is broken and I've glued it back together a million times and it just keeps breaking on me. But it's one of those brushes that like I know works. I constantly go back to it. This is the same thing, but I want to say this is a natural hair and this is a synthetic hair. As far as F40s go, I don't know. I don't typically use this one, so I'll put that one in my Poshmark. And I think I'm going to keep these 2 as my blush brushes. It looks like there's also an angled brush in the Jaclyn Hill collection. It's not quite as densely packed as the Sigma one, the JH04. So yeah, I think I'll keep that. This one, the Anastasia A19, I actually purchased with the intent of being a blush brush and I just honestly haven't really used it. So maybe I'll keep these, all of these, and then I'll get rid of anything else that was meant for blushing. So like this Benefit one, I'll get rid of. This SL Miss Glam one, I'll go ahead and get rid of. I kept this MAC one as, I don't know, it's a really pretty fan brush. It came with a kit last year. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put that on my Poshmark. I have this, which is kind of like that NARS Ita brush. I don't need it. Oh, it came with an Estee Lauder thing, so I'll get rid of that. I guess this was also purchased with the intent of being a foundation brush. This is a Tarte brush. I haven't used this in a couple of years, and I have those other 2 foundation brushes, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. This Kabuki brush from SL Miss Glam is so cute, you guys, but I don't ever use it. It's so soft though. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. It's just the handle is so big and it's so difficult to store. So I'm going to get rid of that. Looking at what I have left, it's a lot of the same type of brush. This came with a highlighter from Dior. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. I mean, it's a really nice brush though, but I don't need that. This is an eyelash. It's actually a spoolie brush. I had it with my eyelash extensions. I'm going to keep it because I do occasionally use it to like brush through my eyelashes. I know that sounds really silly. This is also a foundation brush. It's used for powder foundation, but I haven't used it in years. I usually just use my powder brush for powder foundation, so I will get rid of that one. This is my go-to brush for applying powder foundation, applying setting powders. A lot of you guys ask me what brush this is every time I use it in a video, and I never say what it is because it's discontinued, but it is my favorite brush, you guys. I actually have a backup of it in my Alex 9 drawers, which are over here. I have a brand new backup of it. It's not the best, like, it's not made very well. The bristles kind of like, I could pull it and a whole bunch come out, see? But it is the best, most densely packed, softest brush. It was from Sephora. It was really expensive. I think it was like $45. I had one of these before and I torched it with my hair dryer. It was still wet from the night prior being washed and I was trying to dry it with my hair dryer and I torched it, which makes me believe that it's synthetic hair. Anyways, this is my all over powder brush. I use it every single day, so I'm 100% keeping this. As far as a backup for this, I think this Jaclyn Hill one would be a perfect backup. It looks to be the same type of brush as, I have 2 here from Morphe. The E41 resembles it probably the best. I also have the E52. These are both kind of similar. This one's obviously bigger, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this one. I'll keep my Sephora, this one, and then I have a backup of this one for when this one kind of goes bye-bye. So These two are going to go on my Poshmark. My jars are getting too full, so I'm just gonna put those right there. As far as like brushes that I use to kind of, what is Lipstick Nick calls it, like veiling. That's a technique I've used ever since I started doing makeup. It just wasn't like a formal term of veiling, but basically the brush I use to kind of blend my cheek products together when they're a little bit too heavy, or when I want to put a coat of like translucent powder on top of things. This is the brush I use for it. It's the only brush I have like this that is used for that purpose. So I'm gonna keep that one. Bronzer brushes. So bronzer brushes, I have to admit, are somewhat of like a weakness for me, and they're all very, very expensive. So this is the Morphe R2. Jacqueline did say that her version, the JH02, is the same exact brush as the R2. So I'm gonna keep the Jacqueline Hill version and get rid of this one. This one was meant to be a dupe of the Tom Ford brush, which I have right here. This brush was ridiculously expensive, like over $100. So I'm definitely not getting rid of it. I actually use it quite frequently. It sheds a lot though, which is disappointing for the price tag. But yeah, these were supposed to be like, this was supposed to be a dupe for this, like a much more affordable version of it. But yeah, definitely keeping the Tom Ford one, and then this will be my like backup version of that. As far as domed bronzer brushes go, I have the Too Faced Mr. Right brush. This brush is so stinking cute, but I just never use it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and part with that one. This Marc Jacobs one is another brush that was very expensive. It was like $70. And it's nice when you want to apply bronzer in a large area like your décolleté, or you just want to bronze up your whole face. You can see it's really fluffy and it's quite different from this one or the Tom Ford one. So I'm gonna keep it. It's the only one I have like that. I think I purchased this with the intent of it being like a dupe for this, which probably makes more sense, but I don't use this very frequently anymore, so I don't find the need to keep them both. So that's that. This Laura Mercier brush I just recently got, and I got it in PR. Oh, excuse me. So this is probably the only brush I've ever gotten PR before. I am gonna keep it because it is like very unique. I don't have any other brushes like this at all. So I'm going to keep this one, see how I can incorporate it into my routine, and then if I find that I'm not using it, I will probably declutter it next round. Lastly, I have a little puffy spongy thingy. I'm gonna keep this. I actually have never used it, but I do feel like at some point in my life it might come in handy, and it's in a little plastic thingy, so I will go ahead and keep that. Oh, this is a NARS. I'll get rid of that. Okay, so pulling out the face brushes that I'm getting rid of. So if you want to purchase any of these, keep an eye out on my Poshmark, but there's quite a bit. Holy moly, there's quite a bit. Let's see. So I'm definitely getting rid of at least half of my brushes. I can go through and count them all, but it's definitely a lot of brushes. Okay, so yeah, those are eye brushes. So as far as face brushes go, I'm getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 brushes. Holy cow. So I'm getting rid of that, all of those. And then as far as what I'm keeping, so I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Ah. Oh, you got a glimpse at my messy hair. 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, 31. So a little bit more than half. I think honestly a lot of that is a result of the Jaclyn Hill collection. I didn't want to get rid of any of those yet, but I have a feeling in the end I'm not going to need all of those. Like I have a feeling this one I'll probably end up decluttering at some point in my life, but just a little bit over half. So honestly, not bad at all. As far as eye brushes, so I'm getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh, that's almost exactly the same. So 28 as the brushes, and then, or the face brushes, and then I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So getting rid of less of the eye brushes. However, I think my excuse again is that Jaclyn Hill collection came with a ton of blender brushes, and in the end I'm definitely not going to keep all of them. I mean, like this one I can see myself already getting rid of. I'm going to try it. It might serve as a good like inner corner highlight, but yeah, I definitely don't need all of those blender brushes. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this declutter video. I feel really good about this. I was feeling super overwhelmed with the amount of brushes that I have. I actually do also have like one kit, brush kit from SL Miss Glam that I purchased at Gen Beauty San Francisco, and I never opened it, and I don't want to get rid of it because I really, really love it, but I might put that on my Poshmark too. It's like a complete brush set of like face and eyes. It's a really expensive kit. So, but anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you are interested in purchasing, make sure you check out my Poshmark. But otherwise, I also have a declutter playlist. I've decluttered my entire makeup collection. This was kind of the last step. So if you want to see that, I will put that in my description box down below. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go because this was the longest video ever. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!